यशोदानन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यशोदा यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमती डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य बीबीटी फाउंडर आचार्य सेवियर ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड शिल प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर शिल प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की मथुरापुरी धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की गंगा मैया की यमुना मैया की भक्ति देवी की श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा वृंदावन चंद्र की श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र मैया की श्री श्री गौर निताय की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna Prabhus. Hare Krishna. Where is our operator? Is that Prabhu coordinator? Some questions were there because some devotees have got vaccinated or what? So that's why I thought of taking questions by those who are online. It seems yesterday some 1 or 2 questions. Okay, then the revision if that is not available. Where is he? Call him, no? Okay, by the way, the revision of yesterday, something that struck you apart from that thing, inspired you maybe outside of purport, if possible, outside of the text there.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Rohi, you spoke about the connection between the earlier chapters and now the present one, the 30th chapter. As Rohi has asked many questions, and one of those questions were about the nature of time and also about the process of birth and death. So, in order to answer those questions, now Kapil is going to talk about chapter 30th and further also.
30th, 31st, and 32nd. Samsar is being described. And this should make us completely detached from samsar. Yeah. We should not want to come back again to this world in another body, even if it is human body. Yes. Any other? How did we influence? How did we discuss?
We discussed Guruji by referring to Bhumi Gita and the 12-13 verses translation. We saw how many empires have been created in this world and by the course of time.
Yes. That Ghanavali, today morning he was quoting Vayuriva Ghanavali. That's like a powerful wind, takes away the clouds. Any other?
Yesterday we also discussed the person, condition of the person who is attached to his family members, and what is happening, what is the situation at the time of death. He is not worried about his future, but he is simply engaged himself in taking care of the family members.
Questions are there? No?
Who cannot help him at the time of death.
Yes.
He is simply attached.
Also, we discussed that how a jiva gets completely comfortably situated in any material conditions of life, no matter how miserable it is, abominable it is.
Yes.
So that example of Indra becoming hog and then how he was not
A
ready to
dog
give up.
on 3 legs.
Dog in the leg, that example you gave. Like that.
Yes. Any other? Any other thing that you remember? Some other devotee, Mitra Krishna Prabhu. So if we have 2 mics, it would be better. They'll have little difficulty in passing over one mic to the other side.
We also discussed about the person who is like going to die. So then he's crying out, making noises. Like you quote the verse from Mukundmala Stotra also. And then how he, any person who is like in a very bad state, then he passes through the lower sides, lower holes of the body, passing stool and urine.
Yes.
And then just started to discuss how the Yatana Dehi is there, very thin skin, but they still don't get killed. If they don't die, they have to suffer for that, and then they are carried.
Yes.
By sometimes 2 or 3 Yamadutas.
In 2 or 3?
2 or 3 Yamadutas, you are mentioning.
Yes, correct. Good. Yamadutas don't have right to kill anyone. Anyway, in one sense, he is dead, but and a soul cannot be killed. But yes.
We discussed who become Yamdutas.
Good. Any other?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. You also mentioned that let us die peacefully. Don't go to
said that. I repeated it. Yes.
Don't go to hospital. Don't go to hospital. And pray to God, Lord.
Yes, true. But if devotees want, that you can. If devotees desire that we should go to hospital, then we should. That's what happened with His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. He would not have gone to hospital, but many of his god brothers requested Maharaj, please oblige, and Maharaj accepted. So, but in general, let us die peacefully. Let us not worry. Now we have time in hand. Let us be Krishna conscious. At the last moment, even instead of living for 70 years, I try to make it 1 more year, 71. That is not required. Now let me live this, whatever, 30, 40 years in a powerful Krishna conscious way. And then if death comes at the age of 70, let us get out of this body. Like that. Any other? Okay, some others. The devotees who did
out of 7 questions which Devahuti asked, Kapil Deva is answering second question, that the life and death of a person who is in ignorance.
Basically, 6th question, which is being answered as the 7th question, like that. Good. Any other? Haribol, Subal Saukaka only goes when I want online devotees to ask question. The devotees who are online, if they have to ask question, some 1 or 2 questions were there yesterday. You may ask. Are you able to hear online? They should be able to hear, no?
Yes, we are able to hear, Guruji.
So do you have any question?
Just one doubt clarification I had. We spoke about this Prakshepatmika and Avaranatmika. So
voice is little bit, maybe, I don't know what to do. What? You are able to hear? Slowly you may speak so that I may get your question.
Okay. So the clarification is, we spoke about the 2 potencies of Maya, Avaranatmika and Prakshepatmika.
I only could hear Avanatmika, Prakshapatmika. These are Maya's two ways. Huh?
Yeah.
Slowly, Prabhu. Your voice is too loud, or I am having difficulty. Prabhu, Subha Sakha, Prabhu. Just adjust. We are not able to hear properly.
So Avaranatmika is little clear with the example. We spoke about the hawk, and the knowledge is covered of living entity. But I just wanted to ask about the example for the Prakshepatmika. What example can we quote for saying that it is thrown into the material pool, the living entity? Is it a one time or is it from time to time?
I get two thoughts, but I think better. I get two thoughts, like he's kicked from one body to another body, and other is from one what do you call process of thinking to another, thinking the other one would be making me more happy or something like that. This one is, so he just thrown from here and there, but I'm not still sure. If anybody knows me, answer. Yes.
So like in hostels, when the boy have birthday, so in the night 12 o'clock, they cover him with a blanket and then they give him birthday bumps. So in the covering in the blanket is like Avaranatmika, and giving bumps is like Prakshivatmika. Similarly, Maya gives bodies, different bodies, throws them in different bodies covering, and in that body is the pains and suffering which is.
So it seems like Prabhu, Narsimha Avatar Prabhu, it seems like that only, that he's thrown from one body to another by Maya.
Okay.
That point will come also little differently, that how the Lord is not giving us any pain, it is our own karmic reactions coming to us, and obviously Maya is the one who will orchestrate the whole thing. Yes.
Guruji, in purport number 6, yesterday we read a statement, one who acts on the mental plane cannot get promotion to the spiritual. Can you please explain how it is relevant in our life?
Mental plane, what? Thinking, feeling, willing. All about, because this is adverse fruitive activities. So it is all about the not that which is not for the pleasure of the Lord. So all that mental plane, thinking, even acting grossly, so anyway, actions are taking him to hell only. Similarly, thinking also will be eventually going in that direction only. Na? So we have to give up all sensual, mental, intellectual, and egoistic planes. All four planes we have to transcend and come to spiritual plane. Prabhupada says this Hare Krishna Mahamantra transcends all four. So that's why we should continue chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I also described about Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmannevatmana tushtas sthita pragya satochate. Krishna's answer to who is a sthita pragya, 2.55. So there he has said, so similarly we should also not make plans independent of Guru Parampara or Guru Sadhu Shastra. If at all some plan comes to us which may appear Krishna conscious or whatever, or sometimes we are confused, thin like I'm not sure, so we should better ask somebody who is representative in Guru Parampara. So because mind is very tricky, so mental platform is very dangerous, especially for brahmacharis is most dangerous, because grossly we will not be allowed to do sense gratification because so many eyes watching. So our mind can trick us like anything. Brahmachari and mind and brahmachari. Brahmachari and mind and brahmachari. Because we don't have wife, we don't have child, we don't have parents. So we have mind. Very deadly for a brahmachari. And the mind only convinces for so many varieties of things. So one should not listen to mental platform, mental things. Okay, any other question is there? Or should we proceed? Okay then. So yesterday we discussed 20 shlokas. Today we wish to cover 28 more. And some devotees felt I sped up towards the end because we had discussion. We did speed up, but then not that I skipped anything that I wanted to discuss. Only thing I did not allow you to read the purport. More or less, I only read the purport little bit here and there. And we will not be able to read all the purports anyway. That is the thing. But still, I thought because devotees said so, some things which I would have spoken otherwise. One of the words in the ninth one, Griheshu Kuta Dharmeshu, Dukkha Tantreshu Atandritaha. So there Kuta Dharmeshu. In the family life, for wealth, one may go for cheating means. One may earn the money by hook or crook. So that is what it means by Kuta Dharmeshu. I'm not sure. Maybe Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Pad says that. Then I had in 11th verse, Vartayam Lupyamanayam. Vartayam, when in his occupation. So there, for maintaining himself, is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, Vartaya, Varta, that is his ways of maintaining himself. So he may suffer reverses in his occupation, but then he tries again and again to improve himself and so many things. Old ox. Similarly, maybe in the purport, I'll read a little bit in the 13th verse. When an attached person in family life becomes old and is unable to earn, he is no longer liked by his wife, sons, daughters, and other kinsmen, and he is consequently neglected. What to speak of not being given respect? So this also we can see in temple also. We all have to be very active as brahmacharis. Even in the congregation member, I'm sure in the congregation members that kind of feeling will come. In case you are not so active, then that feeling comes, and others may also taunt or ask also, Prabhu, aap dikhe hi nahi Sunday ko. Brahmachari also in the morning program, Prabhu, aap the nahi morning program, or daytime you don't have services, all that. So we should have enough services. Otherwise, others will look down on us. In a sense, Are ye kya hai? Marathi, I think in Marathi they say, Khaila Kal and Bhuila Bhar. All the time eating, he is eating very nicely, and he is a burden on earth. So we are taking Prabhupada's prasad. So we should work hard and give out blood, our blood. So in our case, I'm saying, and we should not worry in future if I become old brahmachari, even in congregation, I become old man, then who will take care? Krishna will take care. Whole life you give for Krishna, Krishna will maintain us. He says, I maintain. Yogakshema Mahamiham. But otherwise, we should, what is our capacity? We should give full. Otherwise, then we would be felt like we are like burden only, like an old ox. Then ahead, we discussed Dhritarashtra, how he had to be removed from his attached position by Vidurji. That was in the 14th. Then in the 17th one, he comes under the clutches of death, and Prabhupada says he's already in a painful condition because of disease, and his glands and throat are choked up with mucus. He's already in a very difficult position, and when he's addressed by his relatives in that way, his grief increases. I don't know whether we discussed Gajendra. He sought help of his family members because he was in a painful condition, and they could not help him. So like that is the condition of this man who is about to die. So he comes under the clutches of death. Which was the last one we discussed? We went little ahead, I think. 20th?
20th was the last.
Yeah. So Yatana Deha, Jiva Goswami says, body suitable for punishment. Normal person also will not be able to bear such punishment, but his body is very thin-skinned, etc. It is suitable. So 20th was the last. Today begin with 21st. Tayor nirbhinna hridayas tarjanair jatave patuhu pathishvabhir bhakshamana arto agham swam anusmaran. While carried by the constables of Yamaraj, he is overwhelmed and trembles in their hands. While passing on the road, he is bitten by dogs, and he can remember the sinful activities of his life. He is thus terribly distressed. So in Garud Puran, there are many details. How many of you read in case? Yeah, a lot of details are there. So I'll just happen to read here and there. So that distance comes ahead here, somewhere ahead, some 99,000 yojanas. So what I could understand there, some 87,000 or something. He's taken on normal road, and then next there are 16 cities over there. Their names are given, and he's all throughout beaten, etc. And every day, how much he travels like that. Though the further discussion says some things, details are there. So a lot of suffering is there for such a person. He's bitten by dogs, and he can remember the sinful activities of his life. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, he says, I now experience the results of my sins. So he gets that feeling. As yesterday, some devotee had asked question also online, that what is the use of this punishment? He gets the feeling, and he understands, oh, I'm suffering. I should not have committed such sins. But then again, when he gets body, why he commits sin? Maya. Avaranatmika, like that. Even as devotees, we know many things, but then we get tempted here and there, and we do some mistake or something happens. Because Maya is very expert in covering a living entity time and time again. In the purport, Prabhupada says how the dogs bark and bite him. One devotee was saying, because throughout life, or for many lives, mainly human life, he had been living like cats and dogs or hogs. Therefore, he gets association of dogs even while on going to hell also. And then more in the next life of a dog, he might as well become dog also. So one should not lead life like dogs and hogs. Prabhupada has been always saying so. So the dogs bark and bite, just to remind him of his criminal activities of sense gratification. They have asked this question, I think, one of the questions in our handbook, just to remind him of his criminal activities of sense gratification. So they bark and bite. Prabhupada talks about how in Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Dhyayato Vishan Pumsa, Sangasteshu Pajayate, Sanga Sanjayate Kama. All that, 8 things that happen. When one contemplates on the objects of the senses, one develops desire and attachment, and then he focuses on that. He becomes lusty, then angry, and eventually he falls down. So he has to suffer the consequences. Towards the end, he says, in every state of all over the world, such activities are encouraged by the government in the form of birth control. How human beings can have unrestricted sex, and then if the child is there, use contraceptives or pills and get rid of all the children. Women are supplied pills, and they are allowed to go to a clinical laboratory to get assistance for abortions. Now you can see India's degraded condition so much. Here also abortion is so rampant. Just 90 rupees in Mumbai locals, I would see in the childhood. 90 rupees, abortion, only 90 rupees, like that. And many places may be free of cost also. And it is very horrible. Some Western countries and all, the nurses and all, the aborted fetus, they just rotate like this and they throw in the dustbin. So much rampant it is. And so many abortions take place. You might have heard Dr. Patel, his what do you call, method of gynecology, abortion is there. One of the Indians, very famous. So he personally aborted more than 10,000 children, like that. And his method is there in gynecology, in MBBS books, medical books, how to abort children. His method, there are many ways. His method is very famous. And I heard that he came across His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Swami Maharaj. Maharaj preached to him, and he became good, whatever, devotee or whatever. And now he goes all around the world talking about how abortion is very bad. So he says many girls become pregnant after this Navaratri festival, because they have that, whatever they call, in the night, boys and girls, they play, and then they have midnight sexual activity, and they become pregnant. Then they go to hospitals, get the child aborted. So it's a very horrible situation. This is going on as a result of sense gratification. Actually, sex life is meant for begetting a good child, but because people have no control over the senses and there is no institution to train them to control the senses, the poor fellows fall victim to the criminal offenses of sense gratification, and they are punished after death, as described in these pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. So our His Grace Sankashada Adhikari Pro always says sex for procreation and not for recreation.
So, this constables of Yamaraj, they will take only the sinful person, but is it like that, or
they take
because-
others also? That's what description is there, Garud Puran it seems. But only there for those who are sinful, Yamaraji appears very ferocious and very horrible. Whereas for those who are righteous and all, or devotees mainly, he appears very sober, calm, happy.
So this misery of like bitten by dogs and all. So if somebody is like more pious. and-
So for them, anything you have heard, Ramnita Bro? Vaitarani, as far as I know, Vaitarani is a very horrible river to cross, filled with all horrible substances and pointed structures. So there the person suffers like anything. And if he's pious, then they have boat for him. He's taken in the boat. Huh? Yeah, that is what I have heard. So the contraceptives are very dangerous. They deteriorate the womb of the lady. So in the long run, when they actually get married and they want to have a child, they have difficulty. Many such women are crying because before youth, before marriage or whatever, they used contraceptives so much, the womb gets deteriorated. Prabhupada writes in the coming back, it deteriorates the womb and no longer a good face for the soul. And that is against the laws of nature also, because it becomes sin. The child is supposed to live there and he is not allowed, becomes sinful. Next, 22nd. Under the scorching sun, the criminal has to pass through roads of hot sand with forest fires on both sides. He is whipped on the back by the constables because of his inability to walk, and he is afflicted by hunger and thirst. But unfortunately, there is no drinking water, no shelter, and no place for rest on the road. How dangerous it is. Sometimes we might have, in the hot sun might have walked, and how much we get trouble. We want a tree to rest below or some water, something. But this person is not allowed. Nirashrama udake, without shelter or water. Vishnu Chakri Thakur says, no resting place with water. He cannot rest. There's no water for him. While passing on that road to the abode of Yamaraj, he falls down in fatigue and sometimes he becomes unconscious, but he is forced to rise again. In this way, he is very quickly brought to the presence of Yamaraj. So if he falls down and he's unconscious, he's not able to get up and all. So Yamdutas are very heavy people. They can't tolerate it. In Garud Puran, it is said, they say, hurry up, you wicked man. You shall go to the abode of Yamaraj. We will lead you now without delay to Kumbipak and the other hells. They are taskmasters, they are not going to be merciful. They are very dangerous, fierce personalities. Patha papiyasa, of sinners. These are sinful people. Tarasa, they are very quickly taken. So that description is coming ahead. Now 24th to 28, these 5 verses talk about how he undergoes various hellish punishments. So he's on the way now, and then he reaches there. Yojananam sahasrani navatim navachadvanaha tribhir muhurtar dorbhyam vanitah prapnoti yatana. Thus he has to pass 99,000 yojanas, navatim nava, sahasrani, 99,000 yojanas within 2 or 3 moments. Tribhir muhurter dadabhyam. And then he is at once engaged in the torturous punishment which he is destined to suffer. Prapnoti yatanaha. There the judgment takes place. What is the name of Yamaraj's abode? Samyamanipuri, like that. So that's where he's taken. On the way, these all troubles are given. And he reaches there within 2 or 3 moments. There are 2, 3 explanation. 2, 3 moments appear like 2, 3 moments, 2, 3 seconds. But the word muhurta also means how much time? 48 minutes. So 2, 3 muhurtas like that. And our Vijay Dhwaja Tirth Acharya says the time of travel can be longer, of 10 days, 15 days, or a month. Could be for 30 days also. That depends. In the purport, Prabhupada says that distance of 99,000 yojanas, 1 yojan is equal to 8 miles. So it comes to some 7,092,000 miles within a few moments. Seems wonderful to the modern space travelers. They have so far traveled at a speed of 18,000 miles per hour. But here we see that a criminal passes 7,92,000 miles within a few seconds only. Although the process is not spiritual, but material. He is not taken by any spiritual. This is all within material world. No spiritual process. By material means only is taken. Within this 25th to 28 describe his punishment. Adipanam swagatranam वेष्टयित्वा उल्मुकाब्धिभिः आत्ममांसादनं क्वापि स्वकृत्तं परतोऽपि वा. He is placed in the midst of burning pieces of wood and his limbs are set on fire. In some cases, he is made to eat his own flesh or have it eaten by others. You can see the picture, very nicely devotees have drawn such a complicated picture. You have it, all of you have it. I think all of you have books. So how that path is shown, the fire is on both the sides, and different living entities on the way, how the person is wrapped with some serpent, and then this what you call small leaves or something, they're biting him. The other person is his intestines are being pulled out. That is all described in the further verses. Somebody, I think little ahead of that, on the right side, that person is eating one person is eating another person's flesh. And Yamadutas are behind them. They're being burned. Somebody is being whipped. And his back is having those red marks. Blood is coming out. Some people ahead are handless and headless and have to run through something. Some people are just put in the cave and under what you call terror, and the person Yamdut is waiting outside. They cannot get out. Just what you call creating fear in their heart. What is next? What is next? So it's very horrible. Then the elephants are pulling the 2 hands of the person and he is torn apart from top to bottom, like Jarasan, Bhima did with Jarasan. Like that he is torn apart. And then some people are being thrown off the cliff. And if you see far behind, they have shown all that, many things are going on there. So very horrible. 5th canto, when we reach the last chapter, 26th also, we'll get to hear many details. Who goes to which hell of the 28 hells, and then what kind of punishment, all that kind of. So he has to eat his own flesh. And this ahead, Kapil Dev says that these punishments or these troubles are seen on earth also. Sometimes. So I heard one story, true story. Horrible. Sorry, please forgive me. These descriptions are very horrible. And the true story is also, but what to do? The description is also of hell. Currently we are in hell with Yamadutas, with this sinful person. Prabhupada has saved us from all this, but we can also know what all things are there. So one child was in the school, all children, but then the school got over, evening, whatever, 5 o'clock. So all the children left. Somehow this child was there and he was inside the classroom. And it so happened, karma only, That room, the what you call the watchman closed, and it was the last day of the school. It was holidays for what 1-2 months like that. So he was inside. He was stuck, and nobody knew that he's inside. And he was crying, yelling, shouting. But because everybody has left, nobody could hear him. And the watchman, if at all, is at the gate. Nobody. So the time was passing by. He's all alone there, and then he feels hungry. So what, you know? Eventually, they opened the thing after some days or something month when the school opened, and the whole body was rotten, and they saw his skin he had eaten, his own skin, because he might have felt hungry also. So he might have eaten of his own skin also. So material world is very horrible place. I also heard in the spaceship they have to eat their own stool. They have to process it because they cannot carry extra food and all the limitations on carrying foodstuffs. So then they have to process that. In the last great war, people in concentration camps sometimes ate their own stool. So there is no wonder that in Yamasadan, the abode of Yamaraj, one who had a very enjoyable life eating others' flesh, has to eat his own flesh. So, they call Shivambu. Like that. I have read articles before. Like that. People drink urine also. Yeah. So all these things go on in material world. So we can imagine, understand the importance of Prabhupada books, such crystal clear understanding about philosophy, as well as practical life also is given. What to eat, what to drink. Cow's milk, so much Prabhupada stresses, and outside world are stressing on cow, this urine and etc. If at all they have to drink urine, they should drink cow's urine. That will be helpful. That also in appropriate quantity. Next. His entrails are pulled out by the hounds and vultures of hell, even though he is still alive to see it. And he is subjected to torment by serpents, scorpions, gnats, and other creatures that bite him. Hounds, what is hounds? Entrails, first entrails. Entrails means intestines. They are being pulled out, that you see in the picture, by hounds. What is hounds? Not bulls, dogs, but hunting dogs. Hunting dogs. Dogs used for hunting. So these are not ordinary dog. Ordinary dog don't hunt people. They're just biting and all that. These are very dangerous dogs. Hounds and vultures of hell. That photo you can see. Even though he's still alive to see it, and he's subjected to torment by serpents, scorpions, gnats. Gnats means what? For preparation, I had to see all the dictionary meanings also. Gnats, small two-winged biting fly. It has 2 wings only, and it bites, and it's very small. Small, but does proper job. So you can see that in the picture. All the picture is based on these descriptions only. Next is limbs are lopped off and torn asunder by elephants, dividing him into 2 parts by 2 elephants pulling his 2 hands by their trunk in 2 different directions. So his limbs are lopped off. He is hurled down from hilltops, and he is also held captive either in water or in a cave. So that cave we saw there, they are held captive. In this world also, you must have heard, isn't it? So many people are held captive. Under terrorists do that, and some others also. Sometimes kidnapping happens. So people are kept captive. Because through them the parents can be told, give money, your son is with us, and if you give them this, we'll provide him there. Very horrible things happen in this world itself. Now many of these things are Bhaumasur, yes, he had also kept. Next, men and women whose lives were built upon indulgence in illicit sex life are put into many kinds of miserable conditions in the hells known as Tamishra, Andhatamishra, and Raurav. Prabhu, you can open 5:26:8. Srila Jiva Goswami says, whatever pains, yaha yatanaha, that what it begins, yasta mishran, yaha, Yatanaha, the last word. Yaha yatanaha. Whatever pains are experienced are produced by association of man and woman. Because they sin together, they experience suffering together. In the purport, Prabhupada says in this world also they are punished by virulent diseases like syphilis and gonorrhea. And in the next life, as we see in this passage of Srimad Bhagavatam, they are put into different kinds of hellish conditions to suffer. So those who have this illicit sex, this is a little before, I don't know whether AIDS was there when Prabhupada wrote this purport. AIDS was not there. So Prabhupada doesn't write about AIDS, but this were, it seems, famous illicit sexually STDs they call, sexually transmitted diseases. So STDs earlier it seems, now also might be going on, syphilis and gonorrhea. So I was seeing the dictionary meaning. Anybody knows what is syphilis, gonorrhea? It seems in their genitals, men and women, they experience a lot of heat. Something like that was the description there. I also have heard earlier, long before, that one of the procedures to cure them is they are given shocks at the genitals, electric shocks, very horrible. It was very painful. So much so that person says, I will never go for this sex like that. But again, after some time, person Maya covers him up, and then one again goes for such kind of thing. And now to AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Some devotee said that all 26 alphabets, it seems, have come in this, such a disease. And what happens in this AIDS? Immunity goes down. And then? Yes. And how many of you have seen photo of AIDS patient? Better you don't see. I have got to say, it's there in our device, I think. Oh, so horrible. It looks like dead person, the skin, but very horrible. And there are so many other things also. Very horrible things are there. So some description here in the about Tamishra, Andha Tamishra and Raurav hells in the 26th chapter of 5th canto, 8, 9, 10th verses. So somebody can read only the translation. Who has the mic? Thoda
My dear king, a person who appropriates another's legitimate wife, children, or money is arrested at the time of death by the fierce Yamdutas, who bind him with the rope of time and forcibly throw him into the hellish planet known as Tamishra. On this very dark planet, the sinful man is chastised by the Yamdutas, who beat and rebuke him. He is starved and he is given no water to drink. Thus, the wrathful assistants of Yamaraj cause him to severe suffering, and sometimes he faints from their chastisement.
This is Tamishra, one who has illicit connection with somebody else's wife, legitimate wife.
The destination of a person who slyly cheats another man and enjoys his wife and children is the hell known as Andha Tamishra.
Slyly means cunningly.
There his condition is exactly like that of a tree being chopped at its roots. Even before reaching Andha Tamishra, the sinful living being is subjected to various extreme miseries. These afflictions are so severe that he loses his intelligence and sight. It is for this reason that learned sages call this hell Andha Tamishra.
Andha Tamishra. Andha, he goes blind and he loses his.
A person who accepts his body as his self works very hard day and night for money to maintain his own body and the bodies of his wife and children. While working to maintain himself and his family, he may commit violence against other living entities. Such a person is forced to give up his body and his family at the time of death, when he suffers the reaction of his envy for other creatures by being thrown into the hell called Raurava.
Kumbipak is? Like we do rabadi kind of, he's what you call, he's boiled, huge. The 3-4 people. Some picture is there. I think it's not here, but in some place it is there. I heard that in one particular place they beat him with whips like anything. Then he runs sometime. He runs, and that is that for what you call hell is called as Asipatravan hell. So it's hell means forest one, patra of leaves, asi. The tree has leaves which are like swords, and when he runs, all his skin gets crushed. All those swords, they cut off his skin and all that. Yeah. I thought about it. I thought better not to play. How many of you seen that? Oh, really? All I have not seen. You have? It's very music is also there. So I will not play. But others, those who have not seen yet, may see. Huh? Russian is no? Yes.
What is to be seen, Prabhu?
Huh?
What is to be seen?
That movie.
No, we
Russian
didn't get the
movie is
name.
there.
Yeah.
You have
What is
that?
it? Name. If you can tell us the name also, it is okay. We can do it as.
Anybody knows the name? Hell, huh? Hell preview.
Okay.
Very horrible. Very nicely they have shown. Yeah. Hell. No? Those who have not seen, they're eager. Those who have seen, they're scared maybe or whatever. You have? We can show the trailer of half a minute. If you have, otherwise leave it. Okay, nice.
Just
leave
to
it.
just
Krishna
to
wants
get
not to.
detached.
Yeah, let us be detached. Let us be detached from the movie itself. Now you can see it afterwards. Okay, next. Atraiva narakah swarga iti matah prachakshate ya yatana vai narakyas ta ihapyupalakshitaha. So in this 29th, he talks about sometimes hellish punishments visible on earth also. We discussed, but here Lord Kapila continued, my dear mother, it is sometimes said that we experience hell or heaven on this planet. For hellish punishments are sometimes visible on this planet also. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained, hellish conditions means king tear off the limbs of criminal that they do in some countries. Even I heard when we went to Rajgad in our this one Villa. So there, I don't know what is that called, Balekilla or some, on the hill. There is one more hill. How many of you had been to our Villa, Rajgad? You climbed up. So you were together, no? What is it called? Balekilla. Above the hill, one more. No, not a Balekilla. When the enemies would attack and they would reach something, they are likely to reach up. Then the women would be taken up. It's like a hill on the hill, like that. Somewhere there only in one area, it is called a Kadelot or something. That Kadelot. So once I heard that the Sarpanch of the village under Shivaji Maharaj somewhere, so he had raped one woman of the village. So then the case was going on, and Shivaji Maharaj, when he heard, that time Jijamata immediately said, throw him from this Kadelot. He has to be thrown off. So then he was taken. Kada means cliff, or what you call cliff only, and lot, fek do usko niche. So from there he would be thrown off, the person. So that Sarpanch was thrown off from there. So we can see in this world also sometimes hellish things happening. And as far as heavenly things, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says sometimes there may be enjoyments such as garlands, then sandalwood or women. So this kind of things may be seen on this world, in this world. Some kind of heavenly pleasures. Heavenly, hellish, both are visible sometimes here. Prabhupada talks about what we discussed yesterday, how the person gets body of a hog. He's trained there. Now 38 to 39 talk about who goes to hell. And the answer is one who maintains himself and family by sinful means. Mainly he goes to Andhata Mishra. Who goes to hell? One who maintains himself and family by sinful means. These 4 verses, 30 to 33. Evam kutumbam bibhrana udaram bhara eva va visrujye homayam pretya bhunkte tatphalam idrusham After leaving this body, the man who maintained himself and his family members by sinful activities suffers a hellish life, and his relatives suffer also. Prabhupada says the mistake of modern civilization is that man does not believe in the next life. But whether he believes or not, the next life is there, and one has to suffer it if one does not lead a responsible life in terms of the injunctions of authoritative scriptures, Vedas, Puranas. Okay. Ekah prapadyante dhvantam hitvedam swakalevaram kushaletar patheyo bhutadrohena yadbhrutam. He goes alone to the darkest regions of hell after quitting the present body, and the money he acquired by envying other living entities is the passage money with which he leaves this world. That becomes the cause of his going to hell. So passage money means he did it here, something wrong, and then now he's going to hell, but he cannot carry it there. One shloka is there, dhanam cha bhaume mashavam cha goshte bharya cha dwaram parijane smashane deha chita dharma hi gashyati jivaha. Dhanam cha bhaume, whatever wealth one has acquired remains bhaume, in the house only. He cannot carry with himself. Mashavam cha goshte, the animals he has acquired, they remain in goshta only, in the, what do you call that, goshala, in that place. Bharyam cha dwaram, wife remains till door she can come, she doesn't come beyond. Parijane smashane, the relatives go to smashan. Deha chita, body comes till chita, till one is burnt. Dharma hi gacchati jivaha, only dharma goes with the jiva. That's why one should be very righteous, one should be a devotee. That will only be carried forward. Other things remain here only. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that whatever we possess will also have the same destination as ours. That means it will also be temporary as we are. As we are, means the body is temporary, like that our possessions, whatever it may be, they will remain here only, and we have to go alone without any help. Only dharma can go. When we become servants of Maya, we rob ourselves only. He goes alone to the darkest regions of hell after quitting the present body, and the money he acquired by envying other living entities is the passage money with which he leaves this world. Prabhupada in purport says, the result of material enjoyment is that one takes with him the sinful reaction only, and not the money. First paragraph end. The money he earned is left in this world, and he takes only the reaction. Ahead in the second paragraph, Prabhupada says, all the person who earns money by illegal means, by murdering or etc., the family is not hanged, although its members are sinfully contaminated. But the man who commits the murder and maintains his family is himself hanged as a murderer. The direct offender is more responsible for sinful activities than the indirect enjoyer. The great learned scholar Chanakya Pandit says that whatever one has in his possession had better be spent for the cause of Sat, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because one cannot take his possessions with him. Anybody knows the shloka? Sat nimitte, sannimitte varam tyago, vinashe niyate sati. So vinashe, this everything will be destroyed. So sannimitte, for him only, for the Supreme Lord only, varam tyago, one should better give up everything that one has. Money, etc., can be used for the Lord's service. Other things will remain here only. They remain here and they will be lost. Either we leave the money or the money leaves us, but we will be separated. Money chanchala. goes from one pocket to another pocket, like that, keeps traveling. She's stable only where Krishna is. She's Lakshmi. The best use of money, as long as it is within our possession, is to spend it to acquire Krishna consciousness. We all have heard that story that man was somehow landed up in an island, and then they treated him as the king and all that stuff. And he was very happy, but then he was a little bit doubtful, what is this? And then he was told by one person, huh? Only 1 year only. And then, yes, he will be thrown on another island. So then as he came to know, he had some time. Immediately what he started? Because he was the king, all the wealth or whatever that was, he was started sending there. He built a nice house. He made all arrangements for that place, because he knew just few more days and I'll be thrown out of here. Means I'll be thrown there. And then as he was thrown there, he was happy there. So this story means, as we are in this island of this body, we should use all the resources we have and to invest them in that, for that place. That means Golok Vrindavan. So do all devotional service, etc. So that after death, we'll be going there and we'll be happy there. So that is 31st. 32nd. Daivena saditam tasya chamalam niraye puman bhungte kutumba poshasya vrutavitta ivaturaha. Thus, by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the maintainer of kinsmen is put into a hellish condition to suffer for his sinful activities, like a man who has lost his wealth. Prabhupada says the example set herein is that the sinful person suffers just like a man who has lost his wealth. Instead of utilizing this life to get liberation, if one uses it simply for the purpose of maintaining his so-called family and therefore performs foolish and unauthorized action, is compared to a man who has lost his wealth and who, upon losing it, laments. When wealth is lost, there is no use lamenting. But as long as there is wealth, one has to utilize it properly and thereby gain eternal profit. They say that if the wealth is lost, nothing is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. And if character is lost, everything is lost. So wealth loss is not a problem. We should give it to Vrindavan Chandra Kunj Vihari, Damodar. Those who get it, collectors, fund collectors, and congregation can also give. They are giving. More can be given. Because wealth will come. Wealth can be earned again. But character cannot be. So character is most important. Character means being a devotee. That is the topmost character in the creation. It may be argued that when a man leaves his money earned by sinful activities, he also leaves his sinful activities here with his money. But it is especially mentioned herein that by superior arrangement, daivena saditam, although the man leaves behind him sinfully earned money, he carries the effort of it. When a man steals some money, if he is caught and agrees to return it, he is not freed from the criminal punishment. Though it is not with him, he did the act, so he is punishable. So that is the point. Yamaraj means Yam Raj. Yam means rules and regulations, the king of rules and regulations. So we are supposed to follow some rules as per the scriptures. If not, then he is there to make sure one is punished for all his misdeeds. One devotee was saying that Yamaraj के कोर्ट में unilateral process होता है, किसी witness की जरूरत नहीं, because all those witnesses are already there. Sun, moon, directions, sky, land, so many of them. 12. Paramatma is also there. So there is no need of any witness there. They have that judgment there. केवलेन हि अधर्मेण कुटुंब भरणोत्सुकः याति जीवो अंधता मिश्रम चरमं तमसः padam. Therefore, a person who is very eager to maintain his family and kinsmen simply by black methods certainly goes to the darkest region of hell, which is known as Andhata Mishra. You can read some part of the purport. beginning with maintaining one's family.
Maintaining one's family is certainly the duty of a householder, but one should be eager to earn his livelihood by prescribed method. As stated in the scriptures, in Bhagavad Gita, it is described that the Lord has divided the social system into 4 classifications of castes or varnas according to the quality and work. Apart from Bhagavad Gita, in every society, a man is known according to his quality and work. For example, when a man is constructing wooden furniture, he is called a carpenter. And a man who works with an anvil and iron is called blacksmith. Similarly, a man who is engaged in the medical or engineering field has a particular duty and designation.
So what is it based on?
Work.
Work, the activity he does. Second paragraph also you can read, he should not, onwards. Or first line also, one should work honestly according to his qualification.
One should work honestly according to his qualification. He should not earn his livelihood unfairly by means for which he is not qualified. If a Brahmana who works as a priest so that he may enlighten his followers with the spiritual way of life is not qualified a priest.
If he is not qualified as a priest, then
he is cheating the public. One should not earn by such unfair means. The same is applicable to Kshatriya or to a Vaishya. It is especially mentioned that the means of livelihood of those who are trying to advance in Krishna consciousness must be very fair and uncomplicated. Here it is mentioned that he who earns his livelihood by unfair means, kevalena, is sent to the darkest hellish region. Otherwise, if one maintains his family by prescribed methods and honest means, there is no objection to one's being a family man.
Yeah. So now my question to you all, what does it mean by earning money by fair means? Examples, fair and unfair means. Money is required for maintenance, especially for householders. Yes, Sudhamana Prabhu. Take the mic. Some example, if possible, you may give.
Somebody working in a software company which makes software for slaughterhouses. It's not fair. So any occupation which has to where 4 regulative principles are directly or indirectly being broken, or it's supporting those who are breaking it, it is unfair means.
Any other example? Or
Like somebody working in McDonald's company, it is totally non-veg.
Not only non-veg. What? Beef, cow flesh. Non-veg, so there are so many slaughterhouses that way. Any other? Yes. See, Prabhupada says that if some Prabhupada says that if some shopkeeper says, from you, my dear friend, I'm not taking any profit because you are my friend. So is it true? No. Otherwise, what kind of businessman is he? If shopkeeper is he must be earning something like that. Anything, if it is for 20 rupees, he will charge 25. Something he has to get. So this is fair, considered fair. So unfair is? I would say that, he adds some bussa in turmeric and all that and sells it, So a lot of unfair means are there like that. They add so many things like milk mein wo pani dal dega, milkman. And then other things. बहुत कुछ करते हैं. I think you all are well aware. So that's how we have this organic, ghani ka tel, and so many other things like that. This last one talks about how hell leads to lower births and then next eventually human birth. Andastan naralokasya adhastan naralokasya यावतिर यातना दयः क्रमशः समनुक्रम्य punartravrajechhu shushihi. Having gone through all the miserable hellish conditions, adhastan narlokasya, and having passed in a regular order through the lowest forms of animal life prior to human birth, and having thus been purged of his sins, one is reborn again as a human being on this earth. So it is in several installments that one purges out the sinful reaction. First is punished on the way there, and then there in the hell. Next is lower forms of life, and then third, human form. Sinful reactions will come or not? Some will remain. So they have to. So one has to finish off all that sinful reaction quota in this life, and on the top of that, do devotional service and qualify for going back to Godhead. Prabhupada says in purport, just as a prisoner who has undergone troublesome prison life is set free again, the person who has always engaged in impious and mischievous activities is put into hellish conditions, and when he has undergone different hellish lives, namely those of lower animals like cats, dogs, and hogs, by the gradual process of evolution, he again comes back as a human being. And then Prabhupada talks how the next birth, Shuchinam, Shrimatam, Gehe. One who has done devotional service is born in Shuchi. Shrimatam means rich family, means means which family? Fair means which family? Generally Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. Vaishyas are well to do and Kshatriyas are also rich. So that is Shrimatam. And Shuchinam is Brahmin family. So Shuchinam, Shrimatam, Gehe, one will be born. If he has done more devotional service in a Brahmin family, and if he has done lot, then in devotee family. So like that. So our children in our congregation, they are very special. Our Her Grace Urmila Mataji says, it seems that many astrologers have said that their horoscopes are very special. If Garbhadan Sanskar is done, so very special because parents are devotees and have come. Certainly they have their freedom. What in future when they grow up, if they don't take it up properly, that is their choice. But a lot of opportunities are there. Son born in a doctor's family can very well become doctor. It's very easy for him, but up to him as such. So Prabhupada talks all that, and then he's guaranteed to appear in human society in his next life. Towards the last, he says, it can be concluded that if someone is not willing to enter into hellish life, as in Tamishra or Andatamishra, then he must take to the process of Krishna consciousness, which is the first class yoga system. Because even if one is unable to attain complete Krishna consciousness in this life, he is guaranteed at least to take his next birth in a human family. He cannot be sent into a hellish condition. Krishna consciousness is the purest life, and it protects all human beings from gliding down to hell to take birth in a family of dogs or hogs. So Prabhupada is giving remedy to escape hell, that one can at least get a human birth. Okay, I think we'll take a break for 5 minutes because devotees are tired, and then we'll continue, start with the next chapter. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, are there questions online? They are able to hear, no? So, do you have any questions based on 30th chapter? Before we get into the next.
Which one question?
Yes.
So there are some punishments which are mentioned in the 5th canto. For example, someone who mistreats the guest or shows eyes to the guests, his eyes are plucked out in the hell. So this kind of punishment look very disproportionate. Since I want to understand properly for this mistake.
That is not good, na? Atito devo, atithi devo bhavo. So they should, like representatives of God, they should be treated. That means very nicely. In fact, even if enemy comes to your house, it is said that you should treat him so nicely that he feels that we are friends. Only when he goes out of the house, then he again remember, we are enemies. Like that kind of treatment should be given. So there, what is the punishment in the hell for such a person?
Eyes are plucked out. It is.
Sure?
Yeah.
Sure, no? Because otherwise, some animal looks at you very staring in your eyes with the intention of plucking out the eyes. Do they pluck out also? Okay, plucking out also. That is required, no? How can we give a stern look to your guest? Guest should be treated. In fact, our Vaishnava etiquette says that even if you are doing deity worship, let's say you are doing deep, deep is done, and you find a guest has come in the temple, it's whole empty temple hall, and he is a little bit confused, whatever the reason like that. So you should stop the deity worship, come out of altar, and tell him, sir, this is your place only. This is our Lord, which is your father only, who is your father. So be comfortable. I'll just complete my thing, and could I just come in 15-20 minutes? And he says, okay. Or he says, no, I want little water or something. Then you give him all that. Then you resume your deity worship. So much. You have to stop your deity worship. So you can imagine the importance of a guest. How, in which case you find our deity worship being stopped? No way. As you blow the conch, you have to go till the last conch. Then after that, whatever. Till then we don't stop, isn't it? But you have to stop it. That is the Vaishnava etiquette. If you don't stop, that means you are a Kanishta Adhikari. So much is there. So guests should be, because this is everyone's house, no? God is everyone's father. And we are the caretakers, temple residents and all that. So the congregation should be well received in the temple, the guests, or anyone for that matter.
In this saying,
All. Regular, irregular, anybody who comes only once in life. In fact, we invite outsiders also, please come. Yeah, so all, no? It is not just बिना बता के कोई आया जो हम जानते हैं, जो नहीं जानते वो भी गेस्ट ही हैं. Everybody is guest only. They all should be treated well. In fact, standard of a temple is seen by that. That's how so many devotees became devotees. They were so well received. So we have a lot of pending. Both the TMCs are here. Maybe some are online. So we can take care of people. In between, nicely, people who were coming, they were given the tray full of, sticker, then beads. Now beads are there. Early morning, if they come, daytime, we don't have guest session. In Kunjaberi days, we had started. Brahmacharis would take turn. I remember my turn would be there for evening, something like 5 to 8, 9, something like that. One slot for me, one slot for other. And whosoever comes, we have to tell them this, that, so many things. So we have to take care of them.
This hellish life, it goes for a long period or it is given for a short moment? I wanted to.
Which journey or after
the
there?
Punishment there.
There I was reading in Garuda Puran, very horrible descriptions there. So what I read there, what I understood from that when he dies, so then as it was said, it takes sometimes 15 days, all that. So he has to be given rice balls. I think we call pinda, na? Pinda dan, lupta pindodaka kriyaha. Lupta pinda udaka kriya. Rice balls and water. So the son has to give that every day. First day, second day, third day. And accordingly, he gets body. That description comes. Whatever is offered here by the son, so the soul, father, he gets it. Half he gets, then 1/4 the Yamadutas get, and 1/4 Yamaraj gets. And that gives him body also. So that by 13th day, he has strength in his body. And so many things are there. So it will, and if somebody is not offered that pindadan, then he can go on wandering like that, in that regions, in the forest, lonely forest, that kind of descriptions are there. So Krishna knows how would they be delivered. What will, how will they get into? next human body. Because in some, what you call, societies, there is nothing like Pindadan and all that. Hope they give something, at least water or something, then the person may be helped. Otherwise, he will keep suffering. So that's why our Krishna consciousness is so nice. When we go chanting, even those fellows who are destined to go to hell, at least holy name they have heard. Even if they become envious or whatever, at least they heard something. So we are delivering many people from hell. So we should know that potency of our Krishna consciousness. Any activity we do, it is very benevolent, beneficial for others. So we should give out more holy name, more books, more prasad, and devotees. All that is very helpful. A lot of heavy descriptions are there of how a person suffers. Is that okay? Any other online question? Nasim Avtar Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
You mentioned about this purging of sinful reaction on the way in the hell and later also. And Prabhupada also mentions in the NOD that these chronic diseases, legal battles, etc., they are from our past sinful reactions.
Last line I could not hear, bro.
Srila Prabhupada also mentions in the NOD that these chronic diseases in this life or the legal battles which you are fighting in the court cases, etc.,
Yeah.
they're also from our past sinful reactions.
Mm-hmm.
So, what should be our understanding about punishment given for your sinful reactions in the hell, and still we are continuing in the next lives also as human beings? So is it that all the reactions, all these sinful reactions cannot be mitigated there? Some need to be continued here.
Yeah, they are very enormous. So that cannot be given at all at once there only. And here also this is Dukhalayam. So some quota of sinful reactions have to be there to make him feel also like that. And this is the life in which he could take it seriously then, Krishna consciousness, or at least some righteous path. So that's Lord's program. That is how the living entity is reformed over a period of whatever long time or lives.
Okay.
Is that okay, bro?
Yeah, okay, bro.
Any other?
Just one more, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
When the soul passes away from the body, what is our understanding? Is it taken immediately on this journey and to the Yamraj's court, or after 13 days he's hovering here only and then he's being journeyed?
So that's what the description, according to description, 2 to 3 moments, it appears like that. But as Vijay Dhwaj Tirtha Acharya says, so it may take 15 days, 20 days, 30 days also. So that much period it may take. It will depend on how sinful he had been. I think we have not gone through that passage, which is coming ahead or somewhere. It says that greater sin, Vishnu Chakri Thakur says he has done greater sin. So it may take more time in that sense. So his life is miserable because of committing so many sins. I'm not sure where it is, but somewhere it is there. So as many sins, even I had asked this question to one of the speakers of Bhagavatam in Mayapur temple, or is called Mayapur, that we have heard that person at the time of death, the experience he undergoes is 40,000 scorpions biting at a time. How many of you heard that?
Yeah.
Most of us have heard. So I asked him this question. So Prabhu, is it true? He said, it is said that is true, but it will depend on how sinful or how righteous he was. If he had been righteous, then it would not be that painful. It would be less. In fact, the further description will show how the next body comes from Garud Puran. Based on that, we are wanting to discuss anyway. So there it is revealed. So I'm not sure exactly, I have not read or heard, but here also, as per that 40,000 scorpions biting, in Garud Puran, I read some few hundred scorpions bite like that. So it will depend on how much sinful or righteous a person had been in his life as a human being. That's what I understand from the descriptions. Is that okay, bro?
Okay.
But it takes minimum those 2 to 3 moments meaning 48 minutes into, now that is one muhurta, and then 2 means around 1.5 hours to 2 hours 15 minutes approximately. This much seems to be minimum, and then over a period of, means for some it will take 15 days, even 30 days like that, and then he will reach there. and then suffer in the hells there. All that. Any other?
Question by Vrindavani Mataji.
Hmm.
Devotee also goes through this traveling of hellish situation, question mark. Because my grandfather left body, he was chanting Lord's name at morning 4, and he said smilingly that they are welcoming me. We asked who, and then he described 400 form and left body, literally smiling. So how to understand
Yeah,
this?
so Yamadutas are not 400. Their 2 hands are enough for scaring the other person very severely. There might be Vishnudutas. Your grandfather seems to be very fortunate. He has been whatever the kirtan he heard or whatever whole night he had chanting. So mostly for him and welcoming what? Yamadutas don't welcome. My God, I don't know what to call that word as. Come out. That is very dangerous. That is shown in that picture also. So Mataji's grandfather seems to be very fortunate. He has gone back home, back to Godhead. So devotees will, as I understand, at least righteous people are taken to hell only. But then there, as per the judgment of Yamaraj, they will not suffer in the hell. They will maybe put to heaven, something like that. And then eventually human birth. They will not go to lower forms also. And as far as devotee, I am not sure whether they will go to Yamaraj and then from there they are sent to Vaikuntha planet, or directly from here only it seems Vishnudutas will come. That's what it appears. Because for Ajamil, Vishnudutas came, took him. For who is that? Dhruva Maharaj, Vishnudutas came. And yeah, Tukaram Maharaj is very special. That way Dhruva Maharaj also went in the self-same body. So it seems for devotees directly Vishnudutas only come. They are nothing to do with visiting Yamlok. But then yesterday some description happened that Janak Maharaj, somebody told here or where? Bhagavatam class, yeah, in Bhagavatam class. But then that was for some slight thing. He had touched his wife in the contaminated period. So he had to just see the hell. That's what was told. So many details, at least I have not come across. Some things, whatever I knew, I told here. We have to read. Yeah, but Krishna's desire. It was told now so many people got purified there. And he was saying that they chanted Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay.
One more question.
One last question.
Shamlila Prabhu, you can ask.
It appears that if somebody glides into the animal species, or even as a human being in the mode of ignorance, it appears that it is very difficult. There is no escape, because we say yesterday you were saying that unless one gets association of devotees, but the mode is so powerful, and that ignorance is so much prominent. Even as like human being may get sometimes chance also, but animal life and all this, it appears that there is no escape only. Means they are just gliding down like this. So we also understand that actually Lord is very merciful, and He is giving His mercy everywhere. So how do we understand that this is actually how the mercy comes actually in that way? It appears like
lesson, Prabhu. He has to learn his lesson in a soft way or a hard way. Lord is always kind, just like a arrogant child who is not ready to undergo the lesson. Father puts him under a severe teacher, and teacher may sometimes slap him and all that. It is not pleasurable to the father to see son getting slapped, but he knows this is required for him to learn his lessons. What are the lessons? So similarly, we also have to learn. And as far as animals, our devotees travel everywhere nowadays, isn't it? They go to forest also. And as his Prabhupada and not Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur discussions went on. So Mahaprabhu had expressed that same thing. First he said, how will these Yamunas be delivered? And Lord said, Haridas Thakur said, if they happen to chant indirectly also, Halam Riktam. So Ha of Halam, Ri of Riktam. Lord considers, he chanted Hari, like that, or Raja Maharshi, Ra, Ma, he chanted. But then next, our Haridas Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, but what about trees and other non-human beings? So Haridas Thakur said, if somebody chants in one corner of the forest, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. All the trees are hearing, and that echo comes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It is not exactly echo, it is all the trees, the living entities, they are responding back. So that is Haridas Thakur's reply, and very authentic. So devotee should go to everywhere, forests, jungles, Congo, whichever forests are there. Go. We are not Mahaprabhu. So we don't have to worry. They will be delivered by devotees only. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yes, sure.
That's why Prabhupada started this worldwide movement, and devotees should go. One devotee was saying that Prabhupada went to 6 continents out of 7, but recently he went to 7th also, when that ISKCON's 50th anniversary was there. So devotees took Prabhupada in palanquin to that whichever Arctic, Antarctic, I don't know where it was, Antarctic, somewhere, where Prabhupada had not been till 77. So devotees, he now covered all 7. But anyway, our preaching center should be opened, books should be distributed, full prasadam should be given, and everybody will be delivered. So you are the hope, Prabhu, and all of you are the hope. We are all the hope of the whole world's deliverance. So as many people you deliver in this one life, that many blessings of Prabhupada and Guru Parampara will get. And our Jai. Sarvalakshan Prabhu saying we can send our Bhagavatam everywhere. Even to Arctic, Antarctic, we can distribute to penguins also, if they are ready. So fine. So all of us have to work hard. I think that comes ahead also. Okay, so we begin with the next chapter. Chapter 31st. Lord Kapila's instructions on the movements of the living entities. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the chapter as entering the human body. He had been in the hell soul till now, and an animal species also he has crossed. Now he is coming to human body. Other name is the pains in the womb, or description is the pains in the womb at birth, as an infant, as a child. All these stages are described in this chapter. It talks about bhakti of the jiva as he prays in the womb. We'll see the prayers also. So first 11 shlokas talk about jiva's entry into the womb, his growth and sufferings in the womb. These are first 11 verses. Jiva's entry in the womb, his growth and sufferings in the womb. In that also first 4 talk about stages of embryonic development. In the embryo, how he develops. So first one is very famous shloka. Please repeat. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Karmana Daiva Netrena Janturdehopapattaye Striyaha Pravishta Udaram Pumso Retaha Kanashrayah. The personality of Godhead said, under the supervision of the Supreme Lord, Karmana Daiva Netrena, and according to the results of his work, Karmana, the living entity, Jantu, the soul, is made to enter into the womb of a woman, Striyaha Pravishta Udaram, through the particle of male semen, Retakana, or Ashray, to assume a particular type of body. So this is how, there are descriptions in the scriptures how the soul comes in the male semen. Like yesterday he was telling one, who was the one? Shiva, Lord Shiva mixes the souls in the rains and they come and they get into plants and human beings eat. The male, it transforms into semen. Semen means most important part is the soul, which is in the semen. He has taken shelter kind of there. And when man and woman unite, it is injected in the womb of the woman. There are other descriptions also, those who had been to heavenly planets. So when they're, as soon as they're kshine punne, marta lokam vishanti. So they are thrown off from there. There is no death there. Not that the demigods are carrying the dead body of the person, cremation, no question. As soon as he's Shina Punya, then Martalokam Mission, he's thrown from there. So when he's coming in the Bhuvarlok in between, it is said there are Rakshasas. They open their mouths and they eat this person, and then he cries out because of pain. And then it comes out in the form of tear, and the tear comes through rains also. That description is there. And there are some, seems to be some other descriptions also. So this is how the Jiva comes from wherever he had been to that person who was eaten, a person who fell from the soul, fell from the heaven. He will cry as he's getting, he'll be eaten, but the soul is there, no? Soul will come out. Soul will come out of that body. He has no death in the heaven. And this also we can call death or whatever it is, but he comes out. Soul comes out of that body and he gets mixed with the rains, comes in the grass or whatever. Human beings eat, and then he gets into semen. There are different descriptions like that, how a human, how the soul comes in the semen of the man. That is the description. In the purport, Prabhupada says, in order to give a particular type of human form to a person who has already suffered hellish life, the soul is transferred to the semen of a man who is just suitable to become his father. During sexual intercourse, the soul is transferred through the semen of the father into the mother's womb in order to produce a particular type of body. This process is applicable to all embodied living entities, but it is especially mentioned for the man who was transferred to the Andhatamishra hell. After suffering there, when he who has had many types of hellish bodies, like those of dogs and hogs, is to come again to the human form, he is given the chance to take his birth in the same type of body from which he degraded himself to hell. Ahead it is said, it is all under the direction of the super soul, Karmana Daiva Netrena. He directs material nature, Lord directs, to supply a particular type of body to the individual soul according to the result of his work, and a material nature supplies it. Retakana Ashraya is very significant because it indicates that it is not the semen of the man that creates life within the womb of a woman. Retakana Ashraya, who is that? The soul, but he has taken shelter in the semen. Rather, the living entity, the soul, takes shelter in a particle of semen and is then pushed into the womb of a woman. Then the body develops. There is no possibility of creating a living entity without the presence of the soul simply by sexual intercourse. The materialistic theory that there is no soul and that a child is born simply by material combination of the sperm and ovum is not very feasible. It is unacceptable. So it's a Daiva Netrena. Unfortunately, Maya is so strong that as soon as we are born in a family, they say, अरे ये तो माँ के ऊपर गया है, अरे ये तो पिता के ऊपर गया, अरे ये तो मामा के ऊपर गया है. ऊपर गया यानी उसके जैसा ही है दिखने में. All of us can also see. If you are seen with your father or something like that, mother. If mother is fair, father is fair, you are likely to be fair. Mother is black, father is black, you are likely to be black. If one is black, one is white, maybe the son is dark and then the daughter is fair, all that. So we feel, and the nose and to some extent the face cut is close to resembling to our mother, father, sometimes some close relative. So we feel this is how I am, because I'm born from them, or I'm born in India. So that's why I'm like that. I have traveled in India many places. So because of going to many states, just by seeing the face of the person, we can understand. Ye to आपके गोवा के उधर का होगा. The Goa people, this, that side, what you call that, Karnataka and all that, that side, Konkan, they have a particular face cut. Similarly, Andhra, then Tamil, you can very clearly, means if you travel extensively, you can make out कि ये तो उधर का ही होगा, like that. So you can see that. So we feel then this is to increase, absorb us in bodily consciousness. This is how Maya works. But Karmana Daiva Netrena, the person is supposed to be fair, supposed to have that raised nose or whatever. So that's why he's put in that particular man, semen and mother, etc. and he's born. So it is according to his own individual karma, not to do with mother, father. That is just to increase bodily absorption. Next. Kalalam tveka ratrena pancharatrena budbudam dashahen tu karakandhu Peshandam va tatah param. On the first night, the sperm and ovum mix, and on the fifth night, the mixture ferments into a bubble. On the 10th night, it develops into a form like a plum, and after that, it gradually turns into a lump of flesh or an egg, as the case may be. In the previous section, we had what Ramnita Pro covered. How many types of living entities? Their ways of birth? 4. Which are they? Andaja, which are born from eggs. Then Svedaja, from the sweat, Svedaja. Then Udbija, from seeds from earth, trees, plants. And then Jarayuja, from the womb, mammals, animals, human beings, etc. So how it happens, it is described over here. So many details there in the scriptures. I think it's there in the Garud Puran only. When man and woman should unite, that is also given. The first 4 days of the woman's period, so there is no question. She is considered very contaminated. One should not even look at her face and all that. Avoid eating cooked from her food. She's completely contaminated. By 7th day or so, she becomes worship. She becomes what you call. She can worship demigods and all that. And then when the man and woman unites, the 8th night, 10th night, like the descriptions are there. If the even days they unite, then the male child will be born. And if odd days they unite, then the female child will be born. And on the 14th night, only very special souls will be born or conceived. So it is said there that the vulgar people cannot reach there. In a sense, that's not possible because not for them. So when the man and woman unite, it is not in the daytime, it is not in the Pradosh, it seems, Pradosh period especially, evening hours, as we discussed in Kashyap Diti section. So in the night, first night, the sperm and ovum mix. According to material science, it is if the semen is more than the blood in the woman's ovum, so then the male child will be formed. And if the blood is more in the woman's womb and man's semen is less, then the female child will be born. And if it is equal, eunuch will be born. Important fellows, or rather eunuchs. Eunuchs, we all know, they come in the trains, etc. So it is because the quantity of sperm and this ovum, blood and semen is same. So this is all karmana daiva netrena. So whenever they unite, that is not discussed. On the first night, the sperm and ovum mix, and on the 5th night, so only they have got mixed. On the 5th night, a mixture ferments into a bubble. It's like some small bubble. On the 10th night, it develops into a form like a plum. Plum is like our manuka, and according to Vishwachakti Thakur, it is like hard badri fruit, which is called here as karkandu. So that is the shape. Hard badri fruit. Badri fruit means bear. How big is this? That big? So much, huh? Okay. That's what I have seen, so small. Bigger also. Okay, take it. Jungly bear, whatever. So whatever, plum, generally it is manuka. Anyway, manuka is also smaller and bigger. And after that, it gradually turns into a lump of flesh or an egg, as the case may be. Prabhupada in purports talks about those 4 different ways in which one may get body. Okay, that is it. Masena tu shirodvabhyam bahu angri adya vigraha nakhaloma asthi charmani linga chidrodbhavastrivihi. So this is all very scientific, what you call that, embryology. So human medical science has, through sonography and other things, have developed something, and they are surprised how such detailed descriptions are there in scriptures, like we find here. So amazing. So it is not that just because majority of the people don't believe, we also don't believe. Like 2,000 goats go in one direction, doesn't mean that a sane man also follows them. They don't have intelligence. So similarly, just because many people may say there is no God involved in the what you call birth of a child, birth of a human being. So that we don't accept. What is that in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita? They say this world is produced by sex only. That shloka, what is that?
Asatyam pratishtaham.
Huh? What is it again?
Asatyam pratishtaham.
Asatyam apratishtam te jagadahu
Ishwaram.
Ahead.
Parasparam asambhutam.
Paraspara?
Kimanyat kam. Asambhutam. Kimanyat kam hetukam.
Kim anyat kam haitukam. Kim anyat. What is the other reason than sex only? Just they unite and the child is produced. So it is not like that. It is the Lord who is orchestrating the whole thing. So here it is said in the course of a month, a head is formed. So that means when the woman is in her first month, means 1 month of pregnancy is over, a head is formed. So just see, we might have seen pictures in the what you call videos and all, you know, how that looks like child. A head is formed and there are no hands there. And at the end of 2 months, the hands, feet, and other limbs they take shape. By the end of 3 months, the nails, fingers, toes, body, hair, bones, and skin appear, as do the organ of generation and the other apertures in the body, namely the eyes, nostrils, ears, mouth, and anus. So such very amazing arrangement is there for the bodily development. Unfortunately, in the world today, they through sonography and all, they come to know, oh, this is female. Let us kill her, abortion, all that. So such horrible things happen in the world. But we can marvel at the Lord's creation, how beautifully everything is arranged. And if we have seen newborn child, how delicate is the body, how to create such a delicate body, that too in a womb. That lady doesn't even know what is happening inside, but it is so nicely ahead the description comes. And in the Garud Puran, the description is there and some parts that I want to tell how our body is amazing. Generally, in a body, Vyavaharik body, that means it's like according to general description. Like how many of you have 32 teeth in your mouth, if you have counted? Generally, we hear 32 teeth. I don't know who has it. Maybe you have not counted it. At least I don't have. They are very less. But then, so 32 teeth, according to that, man has 32 teeth. So like that, how many bodily hair? Hair. On our body, there are so many hair. So there are 35 millions of hair. 3.5 crore, 3.5 crore. Then hair on head. If somebody doesn't believe in God, say, "Kahan hai God dikhte nahi?" Well, you can tell me how many hairs are there on your head. That is reachable. Tell your friend to count it. It's very difficult, but there are 7 lakhs hair. This is not, don't say 7 lakhs plus 100 are there. This is according to 32. We go 32, you understand? Many may not have 32. But this is according to that description. Bones are 360 in the body. And nadis are tens of millions. So many nadis like that. We can see some of them sometimes. So human body is so complicated and Lord has designed it so nicely. And here itself, just hardly few days, month, this is all in the womb of the lady is happening so amazingly. Then next 4th verse talks about how 7 dhatus appear. Within 4 months from the date of conception, the 7 essential ingredients of the body, namely child, blood, flesh, fat, bone, marrow, and semen come into existence. At the end of 5 months, hunger and thirst make themselves felt. And at the end of 6 months, the fetus enclosed by the amnion begins to move on the right side of the abdomen. So right side for male children and the left side for female children. Such amazing arrangement is there. So this is well-known fact, it seems, known to everyone. So 7 dhatus appear. What is that pronounced as child only or Kyle? Child. So what is child? Child is annaras. So that appears. That is milky fluid of food materials formed in the intestine after digestion. So that appears in the body of the child. Blood, all of us know, flesh, fat, bone, marrow. What is marrow? Inside bone, that, that whatever it is, soft and fatty substance in the cavities of the bones, that is marrow, and semen is the last dhatu. And what is amnion? Amniotic fluid. Child is born with the amniotic fluid. This is innermost membrane for the child covering embryo. So when he's born, he is born with that amniotic fluid also. That explanation is by Jiva Goswami, how male child turns, means he moves to right side and female child to the left side in the womb. So womb covering is called as Jarayu. So that's why Jarayuja. Next, now 5 to 11 describes sufferings within the womb. That is worms biting, mother eating wrong foods, etc. So all these things affect the child in the womb. Till now, the formation of the body. Now he has reached 4 months. Next, not 4, 5, 6 months are over. Deriving its nutrition from the food and drink taken by the mother, the fetus grows and remains in that abominable residence of stools and urine, which is the breeding place of all kinds of worms. So it is all undesirable. Jiva Goswami says, asammate, that is abominable, all this. You can read the purport. I don't mind. If you don't mind, we can go for 5 minutes more, but we'll end then. Read the purport. Now you all have, no? Those who have, they can read directly.
In the
there.
Markandeya Puran, it is said that in the intestine of the mother, the umbilical cord, which is known as Apyayani, joins the mother to the abdomen of the child. And through this passage, the child within the womb accepts the mother's assimilated foodstuff. In this way, the child is fed by the mother's intestine within the womb and grows from day to day. The statement of the Markandeya Puran about the child's situation within the womb is exactly corroborated by modern medical science, and thus the authority of the Puranas cannot be disproved, as is sometimes attempted by the Mayavadi philosophers. Since the child depends completely on the assimilated foodstuff of the mother, during pregnancy there are restrictions on the food taken by the mother. Too much salt, chili.
So these things are there even before conception also. The woman, what foodstuffs should eat and what she should not eat, that is all described. So it's a very big responsibility, as Prabhupada comes to that conclusion also eventually. Yes.
Too much salt, chili, onion, and similar food is forbidden for the pregnant mother because the child's body is too delicate and new for him to tolerate such pungent food.
Pungent means?
Tikha.
Tikha.
Restrictions and precautions to be taken by the pregnant mother, as enunciated in the Smriti scriptures of Vedic literature, are very useful. We can understand from the Vedic literature how much care is taken to beget a nice child in society.
So Prabhupada stresses on that now, Garbhadhan Sanskara. How much care is taken. Nowadays, I heard from His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj once saying, in London, on Saturday night, a child is born on the tip of the whiskey bottle. How the child is born on the tip of the whiskey bottle. That means on Saturday night, they have all outing, whatever, and boy, girl, they unite, and then she becomes pregnant, and the child is born because of the whiskey drinking. You understand? So that is not the Vedic way. Vedic way is so much care. Even before conception, man and woman have not united. They have planned how to, when to, and how to progress in life. And then Antim Sanskar, the soul has left the body still for his further better destination. So much. So Vedic life is very, very systematic. So how much care is taken to beget a nice child in society? Yes.
The Garbhadhan ceremony before sexual intercourse was compulsory for persons in the higher grades of society, and it is very scientific. Other processes recommended in the Vedic literature during pregnancy are also very important. To take care of the child is a primary duty of the parents, because if such care is taken, society will be filled with good population to maintain the peace and prosperity of the society, country, and human race.
So Prabhupada said our third generation will be most powerful, very stable, because so many things have happened, isn't it? Earlier, if you know, so many sannyasis have left sannyas ashram. Some left devotional service itself, at least not then. They left ashram, sannyas ashram. And now we find so many brahmacharis living ashram. This is all because of not having proper training. Garbhadan sanskar is not done. So Prabhupada said third generation would be very stable. So we may say Prabhupada is the first generation, his disciples second, and then disciples are third generation. But some other devotees say when the devotees in ISKCON, couples, husband, wife, when they do Garbhadan sanskar and a child is produced, that is first generation. Then that child, when he grows up, he marries with the devotee, whatever, and they have Garbhadan, and then second, then third. Because it's very scientific, na? Like that's why we should not worry so much when the brahmacharis leave ashram, sannyasis have left ashram, because we did not get that training. How many of us can say that my father, mother, they did Garbhadan sanskar for us? No. So we have hope from the grihasthas, those who do Garbhadan sanskar. These children could be very powerful if they also use their free will properly. So I also heard that the best way the grihasthas can preach is to produce children more and more. But obviously through Garbhadan sanskar and all this thing. So we should not restrict them also. Sometimes in this world, hum do hamare do, hum do hamara ek, hum do hamara koi nahi. So that is not, in a Vedic life means many children. Ashtaputra Saubhagyavati Bhava. So may you have 8 children like that. Not that every congregation has to produce 8 children. They may not, they may have difficulty, but it's not a problem if they produce more children. And they will be our nice congregation members. Like you can see on Saturday, I think, Sunday, so many children come, isn't it? They're all our congregation devotees. Some of them might not have got Garbhadan facility, but others, so they are our hope. They can be very stable. We pray like that. So all the instability that we have in our mind because of all this. First Garbhadan sanskar was not done. Maybe something happened indirectly. Our father, mother might have visited some Tirtha Kshetra, some temple, not necessarily because we are going to have union or some other reason, something like that. Somehow it happened. And like I was told when my mother was pregnant, there was some grahan that time. So her mother, my maternal grandmother was, she told my mother that you whole day you do whatever, Nam Smaran, something like that, something, this is very inauspicious and all that. So my mother did it, but this was in the womb. I can see in Vedic life how it is done much before everything. We have seen, how many of you seen that photo of Hari Parshad Prabhu's son? How many of you have seen that movie? Yeah, those who have not seen, please see it. When Mataji was pregnant, Hari Parshad Prabhu's wife, that's what I know. So Prabhu asked His Holiness Radha Govind Swami Maharaj that Maharaj, she is pregnant. What should she do? Like that now. So Maharaj said, let her read Srimad Bhagavatam all throughout as much as is possible. And a pregnant woman will not be given household services, etc. So she read like anything. Mataji read like anything. And now the child, you can see. What an amazing child, isn't it? How many of you seen? Yeah, so those who have not seen, for them, this is what you call canvassing. So please see it. When they chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he is peaceful. And as soon as you stop chanting Hare Krishna, then immediately he start crying, and it goes on increasing. Immediately you have to start. You may say, "Arey, to bada problem ho jayega." कौन उसके लिए हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र करता रहेगा? नहीं, we can put Prabhupada, जिनका कोई नहीं उनके प्रभुपाद है, कीर्तनीय सदा हरि, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Prabhupada will chant for that child. Very powerful children could be born through Garbhadan sanskar. Means not just Garbhadan sanskar. Then there are so many sanskaras for a man, 40 or so. 10 are very important. Then in her 4th month of pregnancy or 3rd or something like, they have Swadu Bhakshan, something like. So nice foodstuffs the lady should eat with many children, because she is going to have a child. So she gets nice, seeing so many happy children. Her child also will be nice one. And then Jata Karma, then what do you call? that Namkaran, then what is that? Annaprashan, and so many. So they all can be celebrated with the chanting of Hare Krishna, the prasad distribution. So we should not stop them. If the husband and wife don't want to have children, that is so. Otherwise, we should not unnecessarily what do you call stop them. Whatever they have their counselors, they will decide. Yes. 50 husband and wife they chant 50 rounds of Hare Krishna. That is constant. If you see in Brahmin families and all, they have celebration, they have what do you call ceremony, and then so many guests are invited, and they do some puja, etc. And then they touch the feet of many elderly people, seek blessing that we both, the couple, they are going to unite for that glorious cause. I even heard, I don't know how far you can tell maybe, that in the Sri Sampradaya, when they want next Acharya, when the man and woman are having union, the Acharya, previous Acharya is chanting whatever, something very intensely praying for that child to be very special one, because he's going to be the Acharya of Sri Sampradaya. Sri Sampradaya or Madhva Sampradaya, I think. Madhva Sampradaya. Have you heard like that? Yeah, see. Even one of the Acharyas, you can tell the name maybe, he was supposed to be next Acharya. And parents were told, they said, no, but we want him to be our child. Then they were told, okay, if the child is born in the house, then he will be yours. But if he's born in the field, then he will be ours, like that. They said, okay, fine. Because pregnant lady, how will she go in the fields, especially when delivering and all that. So exactly by Lord's arrangement, when she was to deliver the child, a bull came in the field or something and was destroying the crops. And then it was shouting, Arey, bull aa gaya, bull gaya. And koi tha hi nahi ghar mein. Nobody was in the house. So lady in her pregnancy, she came there. And that time only, she was supposed to deliver the child. And Acharya sent golden plate. The child should not fall on the ground. He's our next Acharya. So on the golden plate, the child was kept first as he was born, So much arrangements are there, Obviously, this is for very great acharyas and all that. But we also need some acharyas. Isn't it? Anybody knows the name of the acharya? Vadiraj Tirtha. Very special. So such kind of things are there. Planned, so many plans. Not just by mother, father, by so many relatives, society, and other, even including acharyas, guru. The husband and wife seek the blessings of guru, and then they go for it, like that. Okay, I think time is over. We'll end here and we'll continue tomorrow. Any question? Any brahmacharis will not have question about this. Maybe online. And they are also elderly couples, I think. So nobody has any planning like that. All plans are over. Next plans are, I think, are Vanaprastha. All the audience there is about Vanaprastha, and all the audience here maybe Sannyas, Prasthan. Okay.
Prabhuji, just one clarification.
Yes, Prabhu.
About these 4 types of bodies or the births, the one which is from the perspiration seems to be very mysterious. So can you throw some more light on that?
I'm not able to throw, Prabhu, because through scriptures only I have heard it. I don't know how, literally, like we have bed bugs. We only see them. Night we cannot even see. Morning, in case you have killed one or somebody is going around, then you find that. But how literally that bed bugs is born from and flies also, I think he said. So how they originate from our sweating. I have not seen. Anybody has seen from sweat somehow? That bed bug came out. Acha.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, 1 minute. Huh?
Yeah, Prabhuji, it is
1 minute, bro. Government, bro. Wait a minute, huh?
I heard that is the environment they need for coming out, for fermentation.
Yeah, soul is only there. Cause is soul only. Like that, the heap of rice, if a scorpion comes out, some people say, oh, heap of rice has given birth to scorpion. No way. The mother scorpion had laid her eggs there, and eventually when they, hatch, then the baby scorpion comes out. So similarly, soul only is the cause, but how that, at least it's not in our perception. Yeah.
It is like Andaja means egg is not giving birth.
Yeah.
Egg is the medium by which the birth has taken.
Yeah.
Similarly,
But at
perspiration
least egg
means
we can see coming out of hen's body, na?
Yeah,
Here
means
is asking these bed bugs and all how.
perspiration on the bed.
Yeah, but you can see perspiration and eventually we can see the bed bug out of perspiration. How from perspiration the bed bug comes out, that we want to see, or he wants to see.
It's okay, bro. No problem.
Okay.
So Bhakti Vaibhav Prabhu has a question.
Huh?
Bhakti Vaibhav Prabhu is asking a question.
Okay, first governmental pro, I think. Who was asking? Online.
Yes, Prabhuji, I am asking.
Yes.
Yes, actually, it is through fermentation and germination. That is also said. Like this, what's way. So fermentation and germination. Whenever we keep food, also it becomes stale, and then we see that small thing.
Curd you keep in the some container and you open after few days.
Yeah.
And so
Then
many
we
worms.
see those the ali we call. No? Ali
Yes,
is
yes,
a
worms.
form.
That only.
Yeah, so those worms they come, so they are gone like that, means without any.
Yes, yes, that is the way. Yes. Last question.
What does Daiva mean? Does it mean Supreme Personality of Godhead or demigods or Prarabdha karma?
It means demigods also, but they are working under Lord only. You know, so they know the laws of the Lord, and accordingly they orchestrate everything. They arrange everything. So, like Vidhata, it is said, no, Brahmaji. So under him, it's a big system only, but ultimately it's all Krishna only. It's not, because everybody child of Krishna. So it's like in the school we may send our child, and the child may learn whatever English, Hindi, Marathi, etc. like that. But it is all by father only. Though the teacher happens to do all that literally there, but it's all father desiring, and like that. Father can anytime take out his child. So Krishna also has that, but he doesn't do that kind of thing. He allows the child to go on. But karmana daiva netrena. So daiva is also divine. Divine means not just demigods. It means the Supreme Lord. Okay. So thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी।